Friends too.
Okay, so who is everybody?
Who is everybody? Well, I'm Randy. I'm in Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I'm Ashton. I'm also in Oklahoma City.
Cool.
And I'm John. I'm in Topeka, Kansas.
Oh, in Topeka. Cool. All right. Well, I'm Van of the Venrez Rock Band, and I'm in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas.
Hell yeah.
I love Oklahoma.
Not so much Topeka.
I don't know, man.
We don't speak of that.
I've toured, all through Texas and Oklahoma, and they got the best Tex-Mex food I ever ate. It's better in Texas,
Fuck yeah. Hell yeah.
Take it.
We've got some in-laws that just moved down to Houston, and they're like, we can't get the right fucking Mexican Tex-Mex
you guys
food.
have better Mexican. You would think the Mexican food would be better in Texas, but it's not.
You would think. That's what I thought too. They're just like, it's just not right.
I mean, like real Tex-Mex is in Oklahoma. It's not Texas.
Right.
Texas got great steak. I'll give them that. They do good barbecue down there too.
Yeah, I haven't had Texas barbecue. True. Oklahoma, I really dig some Oklahoma barbecue.
All I wanted to eat when I was there was, Mexican, Tex-Mex, and on tour we don't get a lot of time to really pick where we get to eat, so that's pretty much it. But I think Oklahoma would obviously have great beef.
Yeah,
I'll have to hit a place for steak next time I roll through there.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got a lot of good places.
What do you got going on, man? Let's just dive right in.
Okay. Well, what's going on right now is, we opted out of our option with our last record company.
Mm-hmm, I saw that.
Pavement Entertainment, and we did put an EP out with them called Purgatory Awaits, and we had the first radio single, Show Me, hit 2 on the SMR, and then Each and Every Day, which actually Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addiction played drums on.
Oh, nice.
And that hit 17. Although, they got a solid roster, and they have different deals with their artists. So Wake Up Music Group, which has Wake Up Music and Wake Up Music Rocks, is obviously their rock and roll division. They have a great EDM division. The owner of that label, Pupper Gomez, is very close to our manager, Bob Chaparty, Concrete Marketing in Nashville. And she had a band opt out of doing another record with them, and she was looking for a great act, and he put us in front of her. She fell in love with us.
Nice.
And so
that's always good.
We went to the guy who writes our music, Jason Womack, my guitar player, we formed Venrez together in 2009.
Oh hell yeah.
He's the bass player for Juliet Lewis and the Licks, although they all kind of quit the band years ago, and we put Venrez together. They do occasionally get back together and do some one-off shows, but he got colon cancer, and so we had to tour. We toured all summer with Buck Cherry and brought in another guitar player. My bass player, bass guitarist, is amazing, Gabe Masca. He's an American citizen, but he's from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. And his childhood friend,
Cool.
Edgar Nieto is like killer guitar player.
Oh,
So we
hell
did the
yeah.
tour with him, and Gabe did the backing vocals. Needless to say, Jason usually produces the music, and due to his health, just really nobody Malcolm Springer, who's a great producer, Tantric, Collective Soul, Matchbox 20.
Nice.
He's in Nashville, so's our management. So he used just a bunch of great players back there, and made the arrangements and recorded the whole record. And I flew back there for about 10 days and did the vocals. And Pepper Gomez really dug it, so we signed with them. I delivered the record to them, and the radio promoter and her felt Sip the Cup, which is the title track, the EP's called Sip the Cup, was the appropriate first single. So we released the music video at the end of February. I think it's over 320,000 views today. And, I think like February 17th, it went to all streaming platforms. It's in the 10, I think it's over 13 or 14,000 streams now. But it did go to radio. Yesterday was the third week on the SMR chart, and we jumped 11 spots from 46 to 35 on the SMR. So,
Oh yeah.
in our third week, that's pretty good. We've never had
It's
anything.
really good.
Yeah, we've never had anything chart.
That's
Everything's
really cool.
charted top 20. So I don't think it'll be different with this. I'm real excited to see how it does. But we've never had a music video go over 250,000 views. So this is shattering records.
Then with that said, I think that's a good time for Ashton to play a short little clip of that song for us, and
Cool.
for everybody to catch a little glimpse of it.
Cool.
Yes, it is. So here we go. Just a little bit of a teaser.
Really
it's
cool.
the heaviest track on the record. I mean, the funny thing is, Jason and I wrote and recorded like 64 demos, between the shutdown in March 2020 and last January. And so, and we probably had 73 or 4 songs to pick from. So
Holy shit.
So we narrowed that down to 8, then narrowed that down to 6, and I sent the demos. Derek Baker is the radio promoter. Most of the labels use for rock, and it wasn't in the top 2 he thought would be the ones to go with. But by the time we finished recording it, it was obvious it was the appropriate first single. So you just never know what's going to happen.
Exactly. So you said did you record in Nashville? Is that what you said?
Yeah, actually Malcolm used all local, top Nashville players.
Uh-huh.
Because the band's kind of scattered. Jason was at the time, he still is. He's too ill to even go in the studio. And my drummer's in France. He's French. And Jason will recover and come back. Edgard's in Brazil. And so it just didn't make any sense to go to Nashville with just my bass player.
Right.
That's
Right.
true.
Although I gave credit to everybody in the band on the record because, actually the bass and the drums are all programmed. You can't tell anything. I mean, because Malcolm's so good at what he does. So, Case Davis played rhythm guitar. Jason was able to send some lead guitar parts, but like on the solo on Cross the Line and Love Dance, that's Paul Allen, the great Paul Allen 10-finger orchestra. And so I just told my bass player, that's just the way it is, but, it's our music. And, Jason, he didn't love the whole thing, but, he couldn't do anything really about it. So 98% of the record, no one on the band's on, and 100% of the lead vocals are me. So I just flew to Nashville, and Malcolm would pick me up at my hotel, take me into his studio, and we'd just do vocals all day, and he'd drop me off. And that's the first time someone other than Jason produced anything we've done. And, I think it was kind of a God's message because I really like what Malcolm did. Some people can't produce their own stuff. Jason does a real good job, although lawyers don't represent themselves in court and heart surgeons don't perform open heart surgery on themselves.
Right, exactly.
Actually, the entire band, after sitting on the record for a while, really digs it. I mean, Malcolm just did an incredible job, and I think with Jason doing the amazing job of writing music so the band's moving forward, progressing with our sound, having a guy with 20 platinum records doesn't hurt anything.
It's very true.
So with so many songs, how do you guys go about writing? Do you float them back and forth to each other, or who does the main writing?
Jason and I are prolific. I mean, literally, we can write and record records at will. I did move from LA to Vegas, but it wouldn't make any difference because he's sick. But we do it 3 ways. Sometimes we'll just get together at his studio, at his house or mine, and he'll just start recording. He'll just start recording music. I'll hear it. I'll start writing lyrics. And we actually have no idea what we're going to do when we get together and write a song that way. I'll write lyrics, send it to him. He'll put the music to it and sing the demo. And then come to my house and I'll lay the vocal on the demo. And sometimes he'll just send me music and I'll write the lyrics to it. And that's what happened with Sip the Cup. That's how Sip the Cup was written.
Right on. It's crazy really cool how the world has changed from like 15 years ago. Boy, you had to all be in the same place at the same time and this, do this, do that. Now it's just sending files back and forth. It's like, hey, Can you put something to this? Hey, what do you think of this? And it's amazing, but I guess that's how you are able to write like 70 songs.
Right.
Yeah, well, that just happened from, we were shut down for basically 3 years because of the pandemic.
Oh, so,
yeah. And so we just get together a couple days a week, every week, and we just kept writing songs. And they were in demo format. The pandemic changed everything because Victor Singer, my drummer, was here on a work visa, and he could only do music for work. So when the pandemic hit, he had to go back to France because he couldn't work.
Oh yeah.
They wouldn't even, when we got signed by Pavement, France wouldn't even let their citizens leave the country. So there were 2 songs we had recorded at 4th Street Recording in Santa Monica that were produced by Jason that we had actually kind of released as singles. And so Victor's on those. You know, I called Stephen Perkins from Jane's Addictions, a good friend of mine, and I said, man, my drummer, they won't let him come over here, you know. He said, okay, let's sesh. And, you know, so he played drums on four of the songs. Had the pandemic never happened and Jason didn't get cancer, or whether he did or he didn't, you know, I think we probably would have all gone to Nashville and recorded it there. With Malcolm.
When you start out with so many songs to choose from, what process do you use to dwindle it down, if you will, to find the gems that you want to make sure you use?
Well, that was the nice thing about Malcolm. You know, I mean, we've had a relationship for a couple of years. Our management company wanted us to have him produce a record, and Jason had been producing everything up till this album or EP. And so I just pretty much figure out what I think are like, you know, I was just sending songs to Malcolm over a couple of years, knowing we'd work together at some point soon. And he was just picking stuff he really dug. So we had about 18 that he had really dug, which included songs that were written in, you know, 2020 and 2021, along with some of the stuff that was written in 2022. And War Machine, the last song on the track, was written in January 2023. And keep in mind, you know, we played a show in Vegas in April, and 3 days later, Jason was diagnosed with colon cancer. So we haven't been able to write anything since then. We just started shooting ideas back and forth and, you know, cutting away and trying to figure out what. I figured if we could get to 8, then that would be the, you know, kind of tough, but we did. And the record company only wanted a 6-song EP. And so Malcolm had some ideas on what he thought the 6 would be, and I agreed with most of it. I didn't agree with some of it. And I think together we picked the perfect 6 songs for Sip the Cup. You know, we used the radio promoter too. You know, I mean, said stuff to him, and you know, Eric's got a great ear. So when you've already worked with a radio promoter that got you to number 2 and number 17 with 2 singles off a 6-song EP, you kind of like, you know, utilize those ears.
Yeah, I was going to say having that ear would probably definitely help and make you feel a little more comfortable with some of your picks.
No shit.
Well, you know, that's the beauty of just, you know, climbing that ladder to top of Mount Everest. You know, I mean, it's, you know, I mean, we've been around almost 13 years now, and we're really actually like a brand new band on the rise. But, you know, it's not like it was before, man. Yeah. It's not the Sunset Strip, you know, 88 to 90, where you've got AR guys from all the labels and in limos going out to some fancy dinner on a company and stopping at the Whiskey or the Viper Room or the Key Club, you know, or the Troubadour in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And listening to bands, and, you know, one of those bands that night wakes up to, you know, a record contract in their fax machine. It's over, you know. I mean, it's like it's 5 or 6 records in 10 years now to really get anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean,
it used to be, you know, 2 to 4 records in 5 years. You know, when Nirvana and Pearl Jam broke, yeah, people get reaching the masses quickly like you could in those days.
Yeah. That's on social media. Makes some stuff light up quick, but it just, whenever it's saturated like that, anyone can just say, oh, hey, here's 20 songs out to the masses. It's like they've got to kind of turn their ears off to most people now, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it does. But in the 90s, all those grunge bands, people were like, they thought they were like an overnight success. You know, they just got a deal, put out a record, and they didn't know they had four, you know, before.
Right.
Today, it's very, very difficult because when things went digital in the early 90s, you know, with the ADAT machines and all that, and, you know, obviously, you know, all the streaming services.
Yeah, everybody's on SoundCloud. Your buddy you work with at the grocery store has his own channel on SoundCloud. Hey, check me out. It's crazy.
Yeah, nobody buys records. You know, I mean, pretty much in rock and roll, if you sell 10,000 physical units, you're in the top 1%. Really.
Oh, shit, yeah.
You know, I think Motley Crue a few years ago put out a record. And they sold 95,000 units and went through, you know, they were excited as heck. I mean, that's the way it is. It's not country or pop. Yeah, you know, people like Taylor Swift and the big country artists, you know, they're still going platinum plus, you know, Beyonce, artists like that, but not in rock and roll. And, you know, they'll spend $7 on a Starbucks coffee, but they won't spend 99 cents for an iTunes download. So we sell, you know, physical units on tour, you know, as part of our merch. That's pretty much it. What you got to really hope for is you just got to tour. I mean, the bands, you make your money touring, or if you're lucky enough to get a song on a TV show, or,
right?
You know, or a TV commercial or a movie, sync licensing, you know, exploiting the copyrights, I think, is where it's at. I forget the girl's name, but there's that hit TV streaming show called Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I forget her name. And she had not really done much in 3 years, and they put one of her songs, you know, on the show. And it just, you know, everything went viral, and her whole career just blew up again, and everybody just started buying all of her stuff again. So, you know, a TV show or, you know, or an important movie can go a real long way. You know?
Yeah.
But some bands' music don't lend themselves to that.
Mm-hmm. Have you thought about doing anything like that, or have you tried to distribute out that direction?
You know, we're going to kind of leave that up to the label on what they're doing. There's some independent movies out there that didn't do much that, you know, we are on the soundtrack.
Okay.
There's a movie called Sacred Blood that was directed by Christopher Coppola. That's Nicolas Cage. That's his brother, right? So their uncle's Francis Ford Coppola. And Jason and I wrote the theme song for it, Sacred Blood. And we flew up to San Francisco where Christopher is, and we shot the music video for it. So when it goes to closing credits, it's playing Sacred Blood. And you can listen to it on YouTube or watch the music video to it. And there's clips from the movie in it. And then one of our hits from our indie records, Hang the Predator, is in the movie during a scene in a strip bar, I think. But, you know.
I love it.
You know, but I mean, like, getting a song on one of these major hit streaming television shows is, I think, maybe even more powerful than a feature film. And, I mean, you'd have to get it on something like Maverick Top Gun or something like that.
You're not wrong.
Some of them, I kind of question how they landed some of them. I'm like, this song is really lame. You know, I think it's kind of like the radio, or not radio, but the record companies, how they pay the record or the radio people to play their songs over and over and over and over. I'm going to give you X amount of money to keep on playing this song until it's so beat into somebody's head. I'm almost thinking sometimes that's what they do. It's like, how did this song get on this movie? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's what the majors do, you know. I mean, that's why to go from 46 to 35 on the SMR, look who's on there. I mean, everybody's on it. You're competing with every AAA list name out there. there's not a lot of room for new bands on the rise to get anywhere. And you're competing with them pumping a ton more money than indie labels can pump into radio. I don't know if the old school payola days still kind of exist. Although I will tell you this, when it comes to all of that film and sync licensing, it's who you know, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're probably right.
It's really who you know. I mean, we've been up for tours with bands that we fit perfectly with. And at the last minute, they take another band that has no business being on that tour.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've seen it.
It's because of who you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to mention any names or anything like that.
No, I've definitely seen it. You go to a show and you're just like, this doesn't even fit. Why are they? This is crazy.
Some bands don't want to take bands on tour with them because they don't. They think they're too good.
Yeah.
Yeah. True.
There's bands like that. You want to have a great direct support band.
Oh yeah.
And because that's going to make you great, right?
Absolutely.
So if you've got a rock band out there before you that's killing it, then you're going to come out and totally embarrass yourself, or you're going to take it up another level and give the fans their money's worth. Right. And, our job is to do that. And I think we've done a real good job of that. It just makes everybody better.
Oh, yeah.
I have a couple important questions to get through. Number one, if anybody's looking for your guys' stuff, where's the easiest place for them to find you guys?
Well, the easiest place to find us is to go to the band website. It's pronounced Venrez, but it's spelled Venrez. So venreztheband.com, VENREZ, theband.com. Go there, join the email list. You can see it right there next to the video. And that's the best place to get all your news on us and be up to date on everything because you're part of the email list. And of course, we're everywhere. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, Deezer, Apple Music, whatever your favorite streaming thing is.
Ashton, good job, because that was like on cue. I'm proud of you.
As soon as I heard you talking, I was like, all right, get it ready.
John's gonna set me up for something.
So when they say octopus, an octopi, an octopus has 9 brains, right? So your show has 3 brains going.
Oh yeah, we sometimes like to use 2 of them.
I want to question out there. Do you guys have plans of hitting the road? Or I know that you have a lot of challenges with people all over the world, and currently him being ill. So do you have plans in the future? Are you looking to do some touring?
Well, I mean, yeah, we have a new EP. They're not going to drop it till we have a tour booked. We're probably going to be, we're definitely going to tour the USA this summer. Sometime in June, I would say that we'll be going out.
Oklahoma?
I can't really.
Topeka?
Well, I can't really talk about.
Damn it!
I can't talk about
Worth
the
a
bands. I can't talk about the bands that are the people that represent us or in talks with right now.
Do they like Tex-Mex?
Yeah, they all.
Well, I know the place.
You guys got to talk about shunning Oklahoma, because every single tour through the mid part of the country always has at least 3 to 5 shows in Texas, but they don't always roll through Oklahoma.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and I'm really not quite sure why.
Oklahoma City used to really kind of be a really good music mecca, and then it just people stopped showing up, and the money just wasn't there, and the venues started closing. So we do have some fairly big venues still that are still going strong, like the Diamond Ballroom and things like that. But they've pretty much just gone
We're going to get on the
wayside.
biggest, longest USA tour we can, starting in June. And then we'll be going back to the United Kingdom and to mainland Europe for November, December. And then hopefully next year I'd like to be on tour all year, USA, UK, Europe, and I'd like to get South America and Australia in the mix.
Awesome.
Actually, a streaming television station thought that my story and the band story was very interesting because, I started the band very late.
Yeah.
And nobody's really done what I've done as far as starting a band as late as I have and accomplishing what I've done. And so, and they did, our first show in 3 years after the pandemic in August 2022, we headlined the Whiskey, packed the place, and they sent in their whole camera crew, film the whole thing. And they had a crew on tour with us, filming most of the summer tour with Buck Cherry. And when that gets on television at the end of the year, and I can't say who's going to narrate it, but it's some huge rock star. So maybe that will help us propel to being able to open for bigger bands or headline or potentially even a Las Vegas residency in 2025. We'll have to see what God planned, But yeah, we're going out in June, brother. We're going to bring it.
Love it.
We're going to bring it.
He can't say who it's going to be, but I'm going to guess it's going to be Gene Simmons narrating it.
John.
It's somebody really close to that. But I've signed all these NDAs, so I wish I could say, but I can't. But you're not that far off. You're not that far off. When you find out, you'll know what I'm talking about.
You're like, yeah, he wasn't wrong. I was close.
So why do they call you Sergeant Sleaze?
It was a nickname I got from a band friend of ours many, many years ago. And,
really?
He gave me the name, and I just stuck with it.
I thought maybe he'd play tambourine with Pretty Boy Floyd or LA Guns or something.
I wish I did.
That would be a better story.
That would be a way cooler story. And then I would...
those 80s sleaze bands,
Right.
And that's
who basically are touring like crazy right now, doing really, really well.
Yeah.
For real.
With Tracy Guns got back with Phil Lewis, and LA Guns has just gone to a completely different level. Faster Pussycat.
Yep.
Pretty Boy Floyd, they're out there touring and they're drawing really well. They're doing really well.
He's speaking my language.
I know, right?
Hit the sweet spot.
So I won't get into it like on here or have you say anything negative either way. But there is also a lot of controversy around the Pretty Boy Floyd camp currently.
Yeah.
Well, Steve Summers was on the first tour I ever did. I actually never wanted to play a show. I told the guys in the band, I'm too old.
No such thing. Come on now.
It's never too late to rock and roll is the name of the documentary. And they tricked me into playing a show at the Key Club, which is Beyonce's husband owns it as a dance club now. Mm-hmm. But it was the place. I mean, that's where Steel Panther started. Every Monday night they played at midnight. And Jason is in Petty Cash. So downstairs, Petty Cash would play from 10 to midnight. And then at midnight on Monday night, Steel Panther would play. And we built a huge following, from playing the Key Club. But we played a show there, and the European promoters at that time, there were two LA Guns, Phil Lewis's version and Tracy Gunn's version. He had Jizzy Pearl from Love Hate singing. And a week later, I got a call, and they said, how'd you like to tour Europe with LA Guns? They didn't have a support band. So I said, yeah, twist my rubber arm. Let's do it. Right. So everything before Italy, which was the last 5 shows, we did the UK and all of Europe. And so we did 5 in France. And so it was us, Pretty Boy Floyd, and LA Guns. And then Pretty Boy Floyd left because they were coming back to headline Italy. So we moved up to direct support. And Christy was very cool and very nice. And Steve Summers was the nicest, most supportive guy that I ever met. You know, I mean, I just absolutely love him. And I love Christy too. And I'm really sad to see what's happened between them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And
it's painful to watch it on social media.
It really is. I'm just like, oh my gosh, no.
This has been going on for years.
Mm-hmm.
But this was December 2010. And you know, everything was great during that particular tour, but I was green. It was my first tour. I had no idea how I was going to be received. And as a fellow lead singer, you know, Steve Summers made me feel like I belonged. He just made me feel so comfortable that I went out there and just killed it every damn show. And he knows it, and I love him for it. And I like Christy too. And I'm sorry to see what's going on between those two guys. You know, I can't take sides on it. It's not the right thing to do for me.
Mm-hmm.
But they both, and I haven't talked to Christy in a long time. Steve and I stay in contact with each other. But they were both cool as fuck to me, man. I don't know if I can cuss on the show.
Yep.
Can you cuss on the show?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they were just they were awesome, and you know, they put on a really good show. I think it's sad for the Friends that Christy's not on stage with Steve.
Mm-hmm.
You never know what could happen. Look at Slash got back with Guns N' Roses. Tracy got back with Phil Lewis. Anything's possible. We'll have to wait.
I don't know about this one.
well, you know, I think this is the thing musicians need to understand. Fans really go with the lead singer.
Yeah.
Because Phil Lewis totally outdrew Tracy's version.
Mm-hmm.
Guns N' Roses, without Slash, were playing to 30, 40,000. And I toured with Slash and Miles Kennedy, and they were drawing 1,500. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the tour, and I toured with them. And yeah, you know, so the fans, they really follow the lead singer, and they really do. And, you know, maybe, you know, Christy just took some exception with that because maybe he had a lot to do with forming the band and
Mm-hmm.
a lot to do in the early years. You know, I really don't know, although I'm not quite sure of what fractured these guys. I stopped reading all the social media stuff a long time ago because I just don't even want to deal with it. Right. You know, the Metal Sludge articles and all of that. Although, you know, maybe Christy's somebody, you know, you just can't get behind that truth. You know, I don't think the Slash had an issue with it, and certainly Tracy figured it out too. Yeah. And, you know, Tracy made a good move getting back with Phil. And Axl made a good move getting Slash back.
Damn right.
That's true.
I agree so much on both of those. I do need to see LA Guns again with them back together.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's a completely different thing. And we did. I toured with Tracy's version twice. We did December 2010, UK, Europe. And then we went back and did it again in June in 2011. And then 2012, we did our first USA tour ever, January, February with Fuel. We even played the Super Bowl Village show for 80,000 people in Indianapolis. And then we went on tour with Alice Cooper that summer, and the next summer with Slash, and we blew up. That's really how it all started.
Oh, yeah.
Not a bad run.
That's a pretty solid run, really.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, I have a very special place in my heart for Steve Summers and Christy because they made me feel like I belonged. They made me feel like a rock star. And just the way they treated me, I had no nerves at all. Also, Danny Nordahl, who goes by Tender, the bass player for Faster Pussycat, and especially him and Summers, Chad Stewart, the drummer for Faster Pussycat. That rhythm section was lent by Tammy Downs to Tracy for that tour. And Danny Nordahl, the bass player, who goes by the nickname Tender, he just kept staring at me when we would have these meals, the venues would all be in his room and he'd serve us all this food. He kept staring at me and smiling. And so eventually, I don't know, after 3, 4, or 5 shows or something, I said, hey, Dan, he says, call me Tender. I said, hey, Tender, why do you keep staring at me and smiling? And he said, because I'm cool and I want to play bass for your band. But I love your bass player and I would never do that to him. So, those guys were a big part of me feeling confident and comfortable and going out there and being able to make a lot of fans and have a lot of great opportunities that continue to come my way. And so Christy Majors and Steve Summers, the Pretty Boy Floyd, Tracy Guns of LA Guns, and Danny Nordahl Tender and Chad Stewart of Faster Pussycat. Those guys had a profound effect on my success. Nothing but love for all of them.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Love to hear all that. I mean, just sometimes you just don't know, because what fans see, it can be a totally different thing, and it's good to hear that these guys are really decent human beings, man.
I will say
it is. I mean, there's a lot of egos involved. You just don't know. The history of it. I don't know what's happened between the two of them. Although, my guess is, because I know Christy was trying to do a lot of solo stuff after we got back from that tour. But the bottom line is, you're not Tracy Guns, who's one of the top 3 or 4 guitar players around. I mean, so you're not Slash.
Right.
And not to say you're not good. But, the star of Pretty Boy Floyd in the modern day world is the lead singer, Steve Summers. And, I don't understand why they're not all enjoying themselves, killing it together. But Steve's bringing it, He really is.
Yeah.
He's down in Brazil right now. And, they're out touring all the time. They're making a lot of money and they're drawing big crowds.
Really cool.
It just warms my heart. I've had the chance to meet all of those people that you've said, and they were all super cool when I met them. Like, I think at least twice for each of them that I've encountered them with Christy and Steve in different settings, if you will. One time, I believe they were actually together in 2010 when I saw them. But
I toured with them in 2010. They were definitely on good terms.
So
I'm not exactly sure when this happened. I've toured with a lot of really big bands, man.
Yeah,
like I said, LA Guns, and we did tour the whole last quarter of 2019 with LA Guns. And we were on fire, and we went to the studio and recorded 10 songs, and then boom, the pandemic and everything shut down.
Yeah.
So, which was very disappointing, and I lost 3 years. I actually decided to quit in April of 2021. I thought, by the time that I don't know if I can take losing all this time and going back out there again at whatever age I would be at the time, and having to spend another year to year and a half to get to where I should be right now. And so Jason was coming over to record my vocal on a demo, and I was cringing all night because I was going to tell him after he bounced the track that I'm done. And so I went back upstairs to my recording studio because he goes, oh, I'm bouncing the track right now. And I jumped on my computer and I checked my email, and there was a recording contract offer from Pavement Entertainment. I just laughed at myself. I said, hey, Jason, we just got offered a record deal, right? And then I thought to myself, there's been divine intervention throughout my life and this band and my career with the band. But if that wasn't God speaking, I don't know what was. And so I literally, in that moment, went from being done to understanding that things were just beginning.
Sweet.
That's crazy.
And you know what I mean? So we got a deal. I got Jane's Addictions drummer Perk drumming 4 songs on it. I got a number 2 and a number 17 charting single off a 6-song EP. When has that happened? Not since Jar of Flies with Alice in Chains, brother. The biggest selling EP ever. I'm proud of that. I am a humble guy, but I mean, I'm proud of that. And God's work and Jason writing great music, and hopefully I wrote some great lyrics, and just having great players on stage with me. And we toured all summer with Buck Cherry, and then we got a new record deal and a great label behind us, and we got a new single out that's doing well, and the music video is doing well. So, it actually just all began in 2021, not 2009, actually.
That's crazy.
I've toured with Elvis Cooper, Michael Schenker. I've toured with Richie Ramone, Hardcore Superstar, Buck Cherry, both versions of LA Guns. Done a lot of shows, and everybody's been nice and cool as fuck. Everybody. I can't think of one person that was not cool as fuck. In my entire career, I've never toured with anybody where there was some jerk off or some asshole. No one, ever. No one. Everybody's very cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. There's been some there's been some direct support bands when we were third up. When you're third up, before that first show, you're all in the dressing room, the third up and support band are in a room together, the headliners in their own room. And one of 2 things happens when you come off the stage. The 1,000-mile stare into the ceiling, and they don't talk to you for the rest of the tour, or you become brothers for life. And I've experienced both. But
I imagine.
It's like, oh, we hate you. Oh, you guys are great. We love you. So, like when we toured with Buck Cherry the first time, we did a massive Euro tour. Massive. It was like 6 weeks, almost 30 shows. It was us, Hardcore Superstar from Sweden.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's in a great band, in Buck Cherry. And it started in Hamburg. And I mean, we went out and absolutely killed it. And that made Hardcore Superstar come out and bring it up.
Right.
Their triple game. And that made Buck Cherry come out and bring their triple game. And I think because we killed it every single night, we made both those bands play a lot better than maybe they would if we weren't the third up band,
Mm-hmm.
But the one band that didn't talk to us, like 7 or 8 years later, I became very close and good friends with the lead singer, so it all worked out.
Very cool. Very cool.
Awesome. What do you guys have? Anything else?
Sorry, I talk
pretty
a lot.
much everything.
No, you're good.
There's nothing wrong with that.
This is probably just due to the subject matter and the bands we've been discussing. It's just the best story time ever for me.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So, because I've toured and been around a lot of people in bands that you really like. I got to tell you though, they got some great fans in the Midwest. I think on this Buck Cherry tour, we played a show in Fort Smith, Arkansas, and which I think was a tie for the two best shows I've ever been a part of. These people were crazy.
Yeah, Fort Smith does a lot of good stuff.
The tour manager's out on stage checking my mic and my vocal effects box, and they're screaming their heads off. And I'm backstage like, what the fuck is going on out there? Because, usually they have to wait for you to start playing before because they don't know who you are, and they just wanted a rock show, man. And when we took the stage, man, I'm telling you, man, that was 45 minutes of it was crazy. The other one would be that Euro tour with Hardcore Superstar in Buckcherry. We were playing Alcatraz in Milan, Italy, which is where everybody plays.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a Sunday, and it was winter, and it was snowing. And they lined up and stood for 3.5 hours on a Sunday, sold out, 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Lined up for 2 miles, man. I'm not kidding you.
Wow.
Just to get in and get up as close to the stage as they possibly could, And we had toured quite a bit in Europe prior to that, so and especially in Italy, we're really well known. We can headline there. There are some countries in Europe, in Scotland, we actually can headline. And we took the stage. They went crazy, and that was the first time that the fans were singing my songs back to me. And it's like the first time your child looks at you and says, "Daddy," right?
Right. I can imagine that.
So
awesome.
they were, so that show in Milan and the show in August in Fort Smith, Arkansas were the two most amazing experiences of my life. And of course, playing to 80,000 people in the Super Bowl village in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I bet that was amazing.
That was just, my bass player and I were rather new to the game. Alex Kane was second guitar at the time, and Jason was first guitar, and Alex is from, Life, Sex, and Death, and my drummer was Ed Davis at the time from Juliet Lewis and the Look. So Jason and Ed and Alex had played crowds like that more times than you could count. And we only had a 30-minute set. The NFL paid us, and they wanted us to play for an hour. So we had to add all these songs that I hadn't sung in a year or two. And there were some songs that the band had never even played together. They were just songs Jason and I wrote, right? So my bass player and I are like walking on the tour bus, looking out at all those people. Jason, Alex, and Eddie don't have a care in the world, And I went out there with my butthole puckered tighter. But, you couldn't even get a dime up there. And we killed it, man. We killed it. We played the full hour. Everybody killed every song, not one mistake, musically or vocally. And, it's hard to remember all the shows you do. So I think, there's 3 that stand out, and I've talked about all 3 of them. I used to ask Eddie, because I started researching Juliet Lewis to see who my guys, what they'd done. And I'm looking at all these shows they're playing for 20, 30, 40,000 people. And I went, "Hey, Eddie, that show you played here, then, that was amazing. What did it feel like?" He goes, "I don't remember." And I didn't know what that meant because I was so green, but now I do. Now I know. Did you guys have any other questions? Because I don't think I have any other memories I can bring up at the moment.
No, you're fixing to make some new ones, man. Come on.
Yeah, I know. It was a new beginning with Pavement. Yeah. Now it's another new beginning. And, it was kind of tough because the EP came out in February of 2022, and the competition to tour was so fierce because everybody was catching up from the pandemic that we actually couldn't tour behind the record till the summer of 2023. Virtually over a year after the album the EP was out. So we're doing it right with
right on
Wake Up Music this time, right? They know, everybody knows what they're doing. So
yeah.
But America, we shall see you in June.
That's right.
I just can't tell you where or with who.
Oklahoma Tex-Mex. That's all I got to say. Come on
down.
Right.
I can say for sure, but I think we'll probably be rolling through Texas.
I'm sure.
Maybe Oklahoma. You never know.
Good stuff.
But as soon as the tour is announced, you will know. That's for sure.
We'll hook you up with a steak in Oklahoma. How's that?
Let's go do it, brother. What city are you in?
Oklahoma. I'm in Edmond.
Edmond, right?
Yep.
I don't know where we play in Oklahoma. I can't remember where we played. We did 3, 4, 5 shows in Oklahoma, but that was, 2012 with Fuel.
Yeah.
So I can't remember where we played. All I remember is I'd leave the tour bus and take a walk and find the closest Tex-Mex and go eat something, you know what I mean? Instead of the garbage that was backstage. And
right.
And the one thing I remember about food is I went in and I ordered just Tex-Mex, and I'm like, damn, that's better than Texas, man. It was the best Mexican food I ever ate. So in Oklahoma, I hope we roll back through there. Although, if I do come back on tour, you got to come to wherever we're playing, and let's go to a good steakhouse.
Absolutely. You got it.
I'm in. Big, fat Oklahoma ribeye tastes like.
We can do steak, man. We can do steak in Oklahoma, too.
Absolutely.
Oh, awesome. Well, thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and hope to see you soon in June, man.
Yeah, absolutely. We should know, I would say sometime in the next 3 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
Who we're touring with and where we're going. And we'll make sure that you guys know. Well, you follow us anyway, so you'll know for sure what's going on. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Thank you so much.
I do a lot of interviews over the years, but it's the first time I've done like a podcast with three gentlemen like you. It's been a lot of fun.
It's good stuff. That's good stuff. Well, I hope to see you in June, man.
June or July, baby. You know what I mean? I'm thinking June through September, USA, and break for a little bit and get on that plane and head over the pond. As they say, head over the pond and
right. That's gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be really fucking cold too.
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
you come back from those winter tours sick, It's just like, you just hope that you don't get so sick you can't sing while it's going on. So far, I've been lucky that way. All right, gentlemen.
That's good.
I shall say goodbye to you all and hopefully see you on tour this summer.
Awesome,
for sure.
All right, Ashton, you want to play us out?
We bang your ugly friends too.